Today I will discuss the second derivative test, one of the concept of maxima or minima. A very good morning to all of you, and I hope that you all have gone through the first video for the maxima and minima, and that was the finding the local maxima or minima or maxima of a given function y is equal to f of x through first derivative test. Now, today I will discuss the second derivative test. Second derivative test. Let y is equal to f of x be a defined function in I, where I is the integer in I, and let any number c belongs to I. Let y is equal to f of x be a defined function in the interval I, and let any number c belongs to I, and f should be twice differentiable. That means now we have to differentiate two times. F should be twice differentiable at C. Then number 1, x is equal to c. Twice differentiable at c, then x is equal to c is the point of local maxima. Is the point of local maxima if f dash of c equal to 0 and f double dash of c is less than 0. F dash of c equal to 0 and f double dash of c is less than 0. Okay, and its maximum value is f of c. That means now this c I will put in the given function y is equal to f of x. Or better I should write, there will be different value of c, isn't it? Here I have taken x is equal to c is the point of local maxima if f dash of c equal to 0 and f double dash of c is less than 0, and its maximum value is f of c. Right. Second, x is equal to c is the point of local minima if f dash of c equal to 0 and f double dash of c is greater than 0. F double dash of c is greater than 0 and its minimum value is f of c again. Third, x is equal to c is the point of local minima if f dash of c equal to 0 and f double dash c of greater than 0. In this case, the fc is the minimum value and its minimum value is f of c. Now, if third part, at x is equal to c, if we have f dash of c equal to 0 and f double dash of c is also equal to 0. not greater than 0, not less than 0. Then we say that the second derivative test fails. Derivative test fails here. And then the second derivative test fails, then how to check whether it has maximum minimum? Then go to the first derivative test. That's why the first derivative test was important for you to discuss and for me to make you understand. Right, let us see now. Using this, I will be doing one question. Suppose we have this question, f of x is equal to x cube minus 3x plus 3. The second derivative. Please stop this video for a while and please note down this point. Isn't it? The second derivative test, I feel that it is easier than the first derivative test. Right? Now let us see one question. Suppose we have find all points of local maxima or local minima for the function given by f of x is equal to, I'll take the x cube minus 3x plus 3. Okay, now I will be solving this question by second derivative test. Here, f of x is equal to x cube minus 3x plus 3. Therefore, f dash of x is equal to 3x square minus 3. For critical points, put f dash of x equal to 0. It implies that 3x square minus 1 equal to 0. It implies that x is equal to 1 and minus 1. That means now you have two values of c, which I can take as c1 and c2. One is 1 and minus 1. Now, I'll go for second derivative test, f double dash of x. I'll differentiate again. F double dash of x will get here 6x. Isn't it? Now, at x is equal to 1. At x is equal to 1. X is equal to c. C is replaced by 1 here. At x is equal to 1. F double dash of 1 is equal to 6, which is greater than 0. At x equal to 1, f double dash of 1, if I put here 6 into 1 greater than 0. It means what? It implies that 1 is the point of local minima, and its minimum value is f of 1. I'll put this value here in this function 1. F of 1 is equal to 1 minus 3 plus 3, 1. Right? Now at x is equal to minus 1, f double dash of minus 1 is equal to what? 6 into minus 1, minus 6, which is less than 0. Right? So now when f double dash of minus 1 equal to minus 6, which is less than 0, it means, it implies that minus 1 is the point of local maxima, and its maximum value is f of minus 1, and f of minus 1, it means what? Minus 1 whole cube minus 1 plus 3 plus 3 to give you 5. This is the answer. This is the way to solve by the second derivative test. Now you can ask me, sir, when the questions is asked to us, you find the point of local maxima and local minima, then which test I should go, whether the first derivative test or second derivative test. I'll just share with you that please go with the second derivative test. The second derivative test is easier, isn't it? If I ask you to write the steps for this, working steps for second derivative test, what I can say? For the given function y is equal to f of x, put f dash of x equal to 0 to find the critical points. Let the critical points be C1 and C2. At C1, you check whether f dash of C1 is greater than 0. And if f dash of C1 is greater than 0, it means C1 is the point of local minima and its minimum value is f of C1. Second, at x is equal to C2, f double dash of C2 is equal to negative, which is less than 0, and therefore C2 is the point of local maxima and its maximum value is f of C2, and that is 5. And at, suppose if I got the point C3, and at this point C3, if f dash of C is 0 and f double dash of C also becomes 0, then that C3 is the point of point of inflection. And then we cannot find out where, when we will get the point of inflection, then we cannot find out the maximum value and minimum value of any function by the second derivative test. Then we have to refer the first derivative test. Then I have to check the value just before that particular critical point, before and after, and you have to check whether the functions becoming from positive to negative or negative to positive. That you have to take care. And after this, now I will discuss the problems of the exercise 6.5. In the exercise 6.5, we have 3 type of question. There is one question, simply you have to find out, yes, whether it attains the maximum value or minimum value, that you have to find it out. The second one, find out the point of local maxima and local minima or its absolute maximum value or absolute minimum value. And now I will talk about the absolute, then I will go for the exercise. Okay, when we are asked to find out the absolute maximum value and absolute minimum value. In this case, whenever we have to find out the absolute maximum and absolute minimum value, right now we have discussed that in a functions we can have many points where we can get its maximum value and minimum value. When we talk about the absolute maxima and absolute minima, in that case, please remember it, the interval will be given to you. There will be an interval. In the without interval, we cannot find out the absolute maxima or absolute minima. There will be an interval for each and every question, wherever we have to find out the absolute maxima and absolute minima. In this case, even you don't have to find out f double dash. Double difference is also not required. For example, suppose if I go one question, find the absolute maximum and minimum value, that will be easy through the example. Find absolute maximum and minimum value of a function f given by f of x is equal to two x cube minus 15x square plus 36x plus 1. 2x cube minus 15x square plus 36x plus 1 on the interval 1 to 5. Of course, wherever you have the word is absolute maxima and absolute minima, there will be an interval. Okay, now see the solution. F of x is equal to 2x cube minus 15x square plus 36x plus 1. F dash of x is equal to 6x square minus 30x plus 36, which I can write 6x square minus 5x plus 6. For finding the critical points, we'll find that f dash of x equal to 0. It implies that 6x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. If you factorize, you will get x minus 2 x minus 3 equal to 0, x square minus, therefore it gives you x is equal to 2 and 3. X is equal to 2 and 3. Now we have C1 is 2, C2 is 3, and the interval I have to find out between 1 and 5. Now no need to go for the second differentiation. No need to find out f double dash of, because you are asked to find out the absolute. For the absolute, here the interval is also given. Now we have 4 points: 2, 3, 1 and 5. Now you find out f of 1, you find out f of 2, you find out the value of f of 3, find the value of f of 5. Put the value of x as 1, 2, 3 and 5 and check the value. At f equal to 1 if I put here, so now 2 minus 15 plus 36 plus 1, f of 1 is equal to 24. We will get 24. F of 1 is 24, f of 2 is 29, f of 3 is 28 and f of 5 is 56. It means here the given function attains its absolute maximum value at 5, which is 56, and it attains its minimum value at 1, which is 24. It doesn't mean that always the absolute maxima and minima will attain at in the given interval also. No, we need to find out to check the value at all the functions, at all that value. Sometimes we'll get the value in between 1 and 5, will have some number where the given functions will attain its maximum value or minimum value. That's why for absolute maxima and absolute minima, whenever we have the questions are given to you, there will be an interval. Without interval, we cannot find out the absolute maxima and absolute minima. Because again, now I will refer the first graph which I have discussed. First line. Finally. Yes. Isn't it? Now here maxima, 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 minima, minima, minima. Okay. But now if I ask, yes, between this point and this point, I have to find out between A and B, I have to find its maximum value and minimum value. Then it becomes what? The absolute maxima or absolute minima. Therefore, in the order to find out the absolute maxima and minima, don't differentiate second time. Simply find out the critical points. Find out the critical points, that C1 and C2. This C1 and C2 and this two interval as C3 and C4. We can take all these points, 2 point this, and whether I am getting 1 point or 2 point or 3 point here, at all these points we find the value of f, isn't it? And check in which part we are getting the maximum value or minimum value. That's why the finally answer of this question is, it attains, the given function attains the maximum value 56 at 5 and minimum value 24 at x equal to 1. Fine. Now, in the exercise 6.5, now we have the problems of exercise 6.5. The first question. In the first question we have, find the maximum value and minimum value, if any, of the following functions given by f of x. F of x is equal to 2x minus 1 whole square plus 3. F of x is equal to 2x minus 1 whole square plus 3. The question is what? Don't need to find out the point. Simply find the maximum and minimum value of this given function. See, I can say that 2x minus 1 whole square is greater than or equal to 0 always. That's why 2x minus 1 whole square plus 3 is greater than or equal to 3. It means this is what? F of x. This is what? F of x is greater than or equal to 3. That means this function's minimum value is 3. Therefore, its minimum, nothing to solve, its minimum value is 3. It doesn't have maximum value we can't say. Why? See now the function f of x. If I take any value of x, of course this 2x minus 1 whole square will be always positive. That's why the whole function, if I talk, its minimum value will be 3 and maximum value, it depends on x. X keep on being large and the function, the value of the function f of x will also become very, very large, isn't it? That's why its minimum value is 3, right? And maximum value we cannot say. Suppose the second question we have, f of x is equal to 9x square plus 12x plus 2. 9x square plus 12x plus 2. See, now can I write f of x is equal to 3x whole square plus 2 into 3x into 4 to whole minus 2, can I write? So now 3x whole square plus 2 into 3x into 2, 2 3 are 6, 2 are 12x plus 4 minus 2 will have 2. This becomes what? F of x is equal to 3x plus 2 whole square minus 2. Now we can say simply its minimum value is minus 2. Its minimum value is minus 2 and maximum value we cannot say. In this way we can do the question. Suppose we have third part, g of x is equal to x square plus 1. Now see for this function, x square is greater than 0 always, plus 1. So now x square plus 1, if I take any value, its minimum value will be what? minimum value will be 1, maximum value again we cannot. That means a given functions can have maximum value, can have minimum value, cannot have maximum value, can have minimum value also. That means all the possibilities are there wherever we have to discuss the maximum or minimum, right? Now in the first question, simply in the first and second question of the book, find the maximum and minimum value if any of the functions. Suppose I have f of x, that means in the first part, or that is the first question, simply we have to find out its minimum value and maximum value, and that we have done, isn't it? Here its maximum value we cannot say. Here the